Welcome to the Government News Brief for Tuesday, January 12, 2016. In the news, Social Protection Ministry to roll out program targeting offenders, Guyana's tourism potential as an emerging tourist destination highlighted in reputable international magazine, and a multi-sectoral approach being employed to tackle suicide. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. The Ministry of Public Health is taking a multi-sectoral approach towards dealing with the burning issue of suicide in Guyana. Shivani Rampasad reports.
With the constantly high suicide rate in Guyana, Public Health Minister Dr. George Norton has indicated that the ministry is looking at a multi-sectoral approach towards dealing with the issue.
We set up a suicide prevention national strategy. We have that just being controlled particularly under the mental health strategy with a mental health committee. We're working towards that. Some might say that most suicides or a lot of suicides are not mental cases, but what the experts are telling us is that the problem lies in the society, and the solution itself also lies in the society.
A meeting was held with President David Granger and his cabinet members to discuss the necessary steps needed to curb the situation. This included inputs from education, social welfare, indigenous affairs, and the public health sectors. According to the Pan American Health Organization, more than 800,000 people die from suicide every year. However, it is said that Guyana had the world's highest estimated suicide rate in 2012. The country has trended high for suicide on several other international surveys. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampasad reporting.
As Guyana prepares to celebrate its 50th anniversary, promotion of the country's diverse nature would be on the cards. As such, the country welcomes the news that it has been identified among 12 countries that are termed emerging tourist destinations. Shanaza Low reports.
Guyana is gaining worldwide recognition as a tourist destination worth visiting. The country has been featured in the Business Insider UK magazine under the heading 12 Emerging Destinations You Have to Visit in 2016. In highlighting Guyana as one of such destinations, it stated that the country is dripping with rainforests, with untouched, pristine interior locations, and in numerous wildlife such as jaguars, sloths, and pumas. Seeing the largest single-drop waterfalls, the kite shower from a tiny airplane makes it an unforgettable experience, the article stated. Guyana's potential has been pointed out many times before, and under this new government, the Tourism Ministry plans to market the country under South America. But what is South America?
It's the magnificence of the Amazon. It's huge rivers like you would see down south in the U.S., like the Mississippi. It's the beautiful Essequibo, the Demerara, dark waters, creek water. That is the vision. And tied into that is the beauty of our rainforest, our savanna. It is adventure tourism, it's leisure tourism, it's hiking, it's mountains, it is activities, it's sports fishing. It's sports tourism that includes fishing, yachts and rallies, cricket, football, other games, motor racing. Those are the ones that we've highlighted that fit into the sports tourism niche.
New marketing strategies will help boost Guyana's tourism. Focus will be on sports fishing, hiking and canopy walkways, cricket and motor racing, among many other activities. Bird watching is another aspect to be promoted, as about 3,000 people come to Guyana for this purpose. Then, there is the ecotourism focus. This is the fastest growing aspect of the whole tourism industry.
The whole issue of organic, the whole issue of sustainable tourism, and in most places of the world, there are few models that can really be called ecotourism. And therefore, it's a process of growth. And so we want to say that it's more sustainable tourism. Right now, it's adventure tourism. But we want to identify, with the recent study we did, a few pockets that we're going to be able to sell to the world. This is a real ecotourism experience.
In previous years, Guyana received international recognition such as BBC's Travel, 5 Destinations You Should Know More About, and National Geographic Traveler as one of the must-see places on Earth. With this government news brief, I'm Shanaz Low reporting.
Persons placed before the courts and those who are within the realm of the court system will now have a chance to be reintegrated into society, as the Ministry of Social Protection will be rolling out a program to target offenders. Details in this report.
The Ministry of Social Protection will bring forth a program that is designed to enable the social reintegration of persons placed before the courts, especially first offenders.
We want to ensure that persons placed before our court or brought before within the realms of the court system in terms of prosecution, we want to ensure that they are not only just sent to prison and have custodial sentences, but we want to look at three aspects of justice within society, and that is we want to look at security, we want to look at rehabilitation, and we want to look at reintegration of persons who might be placed before the court. Security in the sense that we want to ensure that our prison system is not so overpopulated that it poses a great challenge to security, and we recognize that the probation department has a great role to play.
With alternative sentencing in place, the ministry's probation department can play a greater role in reducing the number of persons sent to prison. In other words, rather than custodial sentencing, persons can be placed under supervision or probation.
We're looking at that presently, and we also want to ensure that we can provide the court with such information that the court seeks, so that in their adjudication in cases, those decisions can be made which would be looking at rehabilitation of offenders, because we just don't want a situation where persons are placed in prison and without any proper work being done with them in terms of rehabilitation, and so that our population, particularly those within those years, can be considered in the peak of their labor years, are not just taken out of society, but they can be reformed and they can be reintegrated into the society.
In keeping with the government's vision of developing strong family units, the ministry also sought to delink the probation department from the social services program. This will ensure that social issues receive much more focus. One of the challenges of aggressively implementing the programs under these departments is the lack of adequate human resources. However, the ministry is currently addressing this concern in order that efficient social services are offered to citizens.
Recognizing the importance of a strong sea defense structure, the coalition government will be making adequate investments for the protection of the country's coastal zone, infrastructure and systems. More in this report.
Sea and defense projects will not only be funded locally, but foreign financing will also be utilized. The sea and river defense sector is currently benefiting from two major donor programs which were being implemented during 2015. These programs are the Government of Guyana and the Caribbean Development Bank Sea and River Defense Resilient Project and the 10th European Development Fund Budget Support Program.
Under the CDB, we have a $25 million for the resilience program, which is ongoing. We've already have the consultancy and the supervision being awarded for those two. And just as we move into 2016, we will have the review of the documents of the works to be done, and then we'll move into the tendering stage. So rest assured, early in 2016, there's going to be quite a number of sea defense works that will be ongoing.
Caribbean Development Bank funded third Sea Defense project focuses on flood protection infrastructure in 8 critical locations. As such, over 5 km of sea and river defense reconstruction work is programmed for implementation at Johanna Cecilia Zorg Region 2, Success and Endeavour Blineham in Leg 1 Region 3, Grove Lookout East Bank Essequibo Region 3, Crane Harlem Rotterdam Mary West Coast Demerara Region 3, Good Success New Hope East Bank Demerara Region 4, Lonsdale Sisters Village East Bank Berbice Region 6, Number 78 Village to Line Path Quarantine Region 6. In 2015, $1.4 billion was allocated for the strengthening of sea and river defense infrastructure, with critical works taking place in regions 2 to 7.
We would have programmed to achieve 3.33 kilometers for 2015. However, we would have only achieved 2.41. Rehabilitation 1.62. We were able to achieve 0.75. And in terms of our maintenance, we would have surpassed the target, which is 23. And we would have been able to surpassed that by 0.723.
Coalition government intends on developing integrated coastal zone policies and strategies to ensure a cohesive approach to delivering sustainable sea and river defense management.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu believes that it is time the people of the Pomeroon-Supernam region benefit from the good life, having suffered from years of neglect prior. Here is that report.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu recently told Region 2 farmers that they are being relieved of their many years of suffering under the previous administration. He was at the time speaking at the commissioning of a drainage pump at Lima.
Arriving here today is a story by itself. How only now these pumps are being installed and how much the farmers suffered over the many years. They were not either drained or given water supplies. But of course, it is said that we don't need drainage pumps only. We need irrigation pumps. And mention was made of Dawa. But these problems did not exist today.
Over 60% of rice lands in the Essequibo region are already under cultivation, and water is critical to the crop's growth.
We have to be careful that while we wanted waters to irrigate the second and third depths, that it had to allow gravity to take its course in a timely manner by regulating the way water is irrigated into those lands. So that it's not only the question of pumps, it is the efficient use and management of the facility to ensure that you don't suffer from excess water or you don't suffer from excess drainage at the same time.
Government has responded promptly, having learned that only 2 of the 9 pumps owned and operated by the Regional Democratic Council were operable. These pumps were vandalized by persons within the region in an effort to cast a bad light on the coalition government. However, interventions by the administration averted massive losses to farmers in the region. With this government news brief, I am Shanta Goberdan reporting.
That has brought us to the end of the government news brief for Tuesday, January 12, 2016. Look out for us on Facebook and YouTube. We leave you with our photograph of the day. Send us yours.